Hi, Tom Lynch.
Hello.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi, Dan.
How are you?
Good. How are
Good, thanks.
TV's doing that again, so.
What?
So look at your buddy.
Hmm?
Look at your buddy.
I can't hear it. Oh, yeah. She doesn't get it.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Sherry. How are you?
Good.
Ah. Who else is here? Do we have many people here yet?
We had 20 so far. Hi, Jamie.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, what was
So messy.
I do the same thing.
The background, dirty hats.
that? I know.
It's okay.
Okay. This off.
Who's got the running water in the background?
That might be me.
Oh, that's going to drive me crazy.
So, basement, I can't stop that.
No, you shouldn't. Thanks.
Want me to
Right.
mute myself?
No,
My phone's just.
I went already. I'll be all right.
I'm gonna see how many people get up and leave, right?
Just waiting for Chuck. We've got another minute.
Wait a second. I'm just going to run up and get my phone. Oh.
Hi, Bruce.
Hey, everyone.
Nancy, are you checking on Chuck right now?
I'm gonna call him right now. I'm sorry. I talked to him yesterday. I know he knew about the meeting.
Okay.
Okay. I talk to him almost every day. Um,
Okay, for everyone else on the meeting, we have 31 participants right now. We are going to keep everyone that's not a member of council and mute until we have the opportunity to open the floor for public comment. We will open the floor for public comment on one ordinance that we are considering for final adoption tonight, and then we will also have public comment, just general public comment on any topic later in the meeting. So if you could please remain on mute until that time, and then we will call on you.
he didn't answer his phone,
Okay,
so I'm sending him a text. I don't know.
okay, and then we can call it to order if you'd like.
I would, probably just say we should just call it to order. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
I sent him a text. I let it ring. I can't believe. I know. I talked to him yesterday. It sounded great.
Good.
So, okay, shall we call it to order then? It is a 6:02. So I'm going to call the regular meeting of the Borough of Beach Haven to order on Monday, December the 14th at 6:02. And we have the flag salute will be led by Dan Allen.
Okay. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United
United States of America,
to the
the
republic,
Republic,
which stands
one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty
liberty and justice
for all.
for all.
Pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act, both adequate and electronic notice of this meeting has been provided by posting on the bulletin board in the Beach Haven Municipal Building and on the borough website and mailing the same to the Beach Haven Times, the Asbury Park Press, and the Press of Atlantic City. Mr. Allen.
Here.
Mrs. Baumiller.
Here.
Mr. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Maskell. Mayor Davis.
Here,
I have three sets of minutes for approval today. I have a November 9th regular meeting, a November 24th agenda meeting, and a November 24th executive session.
has everybody read the minutes? Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Today we are presenting, I would like to present a proclamation to honor the Beach Haven School. Mayor Nancy Davis has worked very hard on this proclamation, and I'd like to go ahead and read that now. Proclamation for the Beach Haven School. Whereas December 16th, 2020 marks the 9-month anniversary of the state of New Jersey's initial stay-at-home order to reduce the transmission of COVID-19. Whereas over the past 9 months, the Beach Haven Schools administrators and teachers proactively planned safe reopening protocols under the leadership of Superintendent Dr. Christopher S. Mayrek. The board of the Beach Haven School and the Parent Teacher Association in consultation with the Ocean County Department of Public Health. And whereas the Beach Haven School successfully reopened for full-time instruction in September 2020, distinguishing itself from the majority of school districts in Ocean County and the state of New Jersey. And whereas the Beach Haven School's rigorous safety protocols and commitment to student and teacher well-being has given local students access to in-person instruction for the past 4 months, providing important stability and care to our youngest residents at a time of unprecedented challenges. Now, therefore, I, Nancy Taggart Davis, Mayor of the Borough of Beach Haven, do hereby proclaim the Borough of Beach Haven's gratitude and recognition to the Beach Haven School Superintendent, faculty, staff, board, and Parent Teacher Association for their extraordinary commitment to the well-being and education of local children. In gratitude and recognition, and ask our citizens to remain vigilant in maintaining public safety and health protocols to ensure their local children can continue in-person education for the remainder of the 2020 and 2021 school year. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the Borough of Beach Haven to be affixed this 14th day of December of the year of our Lord, 2020. I'll hand it to you, Nancy.
Yes, I know, I saw on the participant list that our superintendent is here, Chris Merrick, and the head of our school board, Irene Hughes, and the head of our Parent Teacher Association, Melanie Markowski. And I'd like to personally thank them. I know they've worked really hard. It's been a huge effort. The parents of all the children, the teachers have worked very hard to make this happen. And it's a wonderful event. And I want to thank you so much. And we will deliver the copies of the proclamation to you. So if you want to hang them in your office or whatever, you can. And I wondered if any of you would like to say anything. If so, Sherry can unmute you, or
you can just unmute yourself and state your name for the record.
This is Chris Meyer, Superintendent and Beach Haven Schools. So first off, I just like to thank everyone. That proclamation was beautifully written. And, it's easy for me to be up here, as the figurehead of the school. However, it was a total collective effort for sure, from our conversations in the early summer, talking with the PTA, talking with the Board of Education, and just kind of getting the support of this plan and how we can open the schools back up, and, we kept on going back and forth, and, Irene's on the phone call, as well as maybe other board members, and I was so confident in what we were doing. I actually brought my daughter to school. So not only do I feel like every student in that school is my own child, I actually put my own child in this situation because I knew that was the best for her. So yeah, I'm very appreciative. And, today was day 63 that we're able to complete in-person instruction. And, our community is better off because of it. So I'm thankful where we're at today.
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Dr. Myrick, I just wanted to add that I think the borough has been super supportive as well. I know the police department has been proactive and responsive, and the community's doing a great job making sure that the kids are safe. So I want to thank everyone for that.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Any other member of council like to address the proclamation?
Sure, I'd love to. I just want to say thank you to Dr. Myrick and Irene and just, how great it's been to be able to send, I have 2 kids that go there, and just the difference between when we had to shut down in March to now, just in their progress and their level of happiness and stability has just been remarkable. So I can't say enough. thank you. So,
Okay,
Anyone?
anybody else?
I just wanted to also take a minute to thank Dr. Merrick and Irene and Melanie for all of the hard work that they went through to get the school open. And I also wanted to thank the police as well, because they're there constantly every day, making sure that the kids are leaving at 3 different exits, and they're there making sure that they're crossing and that they're safe. And it's such a pleasure to raise a child in this community that has such a strong tie with the school. And it really can't happen unless everyone is an active member, and everyone is a very active member. So I just wanted to thank you everyone, because we know how difficult it is, especially being a parent and putting on 5 different hats at one time. So thanks to the parents out there too.
Mhm. And I see Carol Laban, you're on the call and your microphone is off. Did you want to say something? I mean, your microphone is on. No? Okay. Nancy, Melanie, did you want to speak? Okay. Nancy, did you want to move on?
Yes, we will move on. And the next thing we have is the manager's report.
Okay. Cash receipts in the current fund account for the period of November 1st through November 30th were $4,110,666.58. Cash disbursements in the current fund account for the month of November totaled $2,037,557.53. And the cash balance in the current fund account for this period totaled $15,009,694.84. Cash receipts in the water utility account for this period, November 1st through November 30th, were $172,539.74. Cash disbursements in the water utility account for this period were $61,596.54. And the cash balance in the water utility account as of November 30th was $4,198,076.27. And real quick, before I hand it back over, there was a couple items on the agenda that I just wanted to point out real quick. One resolution that the council will be approving, acknowledging the hiring of a full-time police officer. This officer will be replacing Officer Pertel, who left a few months ago to go to Jackson Township, and we'll be acknowledging the hiring of Michael McCaffrey as a police officer, and that will be effective January 1. And also a resolution hiring a full-time permit clerk for the building department. That will also be effective January 1. We're welcoming Deborah Strypay to the borough team. She will be stepping into some big shoes, learning from Donna Marie and learning from Mary Ivanchek and Joanne Talon. And she's been in the field, so I expect that she'll be a great fit.
Thanks.
That's all I have.
I just want to mention that Chuck is now on the meeting. He got in, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Resolution 239, 2020 is acknowledging the hiring of Megan Marrow as a full-time seasonal beach patrol chief. This is resolution 239, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
second,
Mr. Allen,
yes,
Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Maskell.
I know he's on there, but I don't.
Yep, I was muted.
Thank
Okay.
you. Are you a yes?
I'm a yes.
Mayor Davis?
Yes.
And before I introduce Megan, I just want to talk about her for a little bit. She received her BS in physical education from Manhattan College. And she also has an adaptive physical education minor. She holds certifications from the American Red Cross, first aid, CPR, and AED instructor. She holds a CPR certification, a first aid certification, a child abuse certification, concussion awareness certification, and also a level 1 coaching certification. She's currently a physical education teacher, 4th through 6th grade at the J. Mason Tomlin School in Mantua Township. She's been with the Beach Haven Beach Patrol since 2010, and she has been the first lieutenant and also the assistant chief of the Beach Haven Beach Patrol. She wears a lot of hats for the Beach Haven Beach Patrol, including managing the virtual learning and social media platforms for the borough. She is also an active member in the New York Athletic Club water polo team. That's amazing. And she was also a Division I cross country and track and field athlete, also a Division I swimming athlete. She has coaching expertise in cross country, track and field, swimming, soccer, basketball, water polo, and volleyball. And she also has working knowledge of sign language. Megan, congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Excuse me?
What would you like to say?
Oh, I just want to say thank you. Most faces I do know and I have seen before. I, as you know, have been on the patrol for a while, and I do see a bright future ahead of us. I'm not really trying to fix anything. I think that everything that we have has a pretty solid background. I just want to improve, and I hope that I can make everyone proud. I hope that everyone wants to come to the beach and also feel safe at the beach. My main priority is always safety. And I hope that every single time that you guys and anyone, your kids, yourself, walk onto the beach, that you feel safe and protected by all of our lifeguards on the Beach Haven Beach Patrol.
Nancy, would you like to address Megan?
Yes, I would. Megan, I'm thrilled to have you on board. I know you're going to be a great asset to Beach Haven. I know you're very committed. I also want to say that when I was in college, I wanted to be on the Beach Haven Beach Patrol, and I actually was given a job that I could only patrol the Bay Beach, which we had at the time. And so I think you'll be a great example for our young women out there. They will realize with you heading the Beach Patrol that women can achieve this. And you're the first woman that has risen to this level. And I'm very proud of you and your accomplishments. And I know you'll be a role model, not just for women, but for men as well. It's good for men to know that women can do these things. So congratulations. I'm really looking forward to working with you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If you want to come sit on a day, just let me know. We can arrange it.
Good. That'd be fun. I don't know if I could save anybody at this stage of my life, but
Thank you. Jamie, would you like to address Megan?
Megan, congratulations. I'm really looking forward to working with you this summer and on the beach. And I'm looking forward to all of the great things that you're going to bring to the Beach Patrol this year and future years to come. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Tom Lynch, would you like to address Megan?
Well, I know Megan, and she's done a great job, and this will just enhance her into the Beach Haven family. So I think this is a great opportunity for her. And I know she's always done a great job. So this will be just another step in the right direction. Congratulations, Megan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Dan Allen?
Sure. Congratulations, Megan. I think you're going to be really good at this. I've seen you on the beach plenty of times with my kids and, around our neighborhood. And my kids will be happy to watch Rusty if it's too busy. So.
Perfect. I do need a babysitter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chuck Maskell?
Megan, I just would like to also congratulate you, and certainly your resume is more than outstanding. It's a big job. It's an important job, and it's the beaches that people come to when they come to Long Beach Island. So, I wish you the best, and certainly the record that you and your team have put together over the past several years in terms of saves for our guests and residents is, I think, without parallel on the island. So best of luck, and if we can do anything to help you, please give the council or Sherry a call, and we'll try to step forward and help you accomplish your short-term goals.
Thank you. I appreciate that too. Means a lot.
Anything else, Megan, you'd like to say?
No, I'm just very, I mean, it's January or December, so I am very excited to start, although as we can tell, it's a little chilly outside, but I'm excited to get onto the beach and make the next year a great year for everyone. And I hope everyone's excited to step back outside and enjoy the good weather and the beach again.
Thank you so much, Megan. Thanks for joining us tonight.
No
Congratulations.
problem. Thank you.
I have ordinance.
I think the only thing that Megan doesn't do is administer virus shots, but who knows? That may be in the,
Who knows?
yep.
I have ordinance 2020-26C, an ordinance amending an ordinance entitled Code of the Borough of Beach Haven, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, as the same in Chapter 55 pertains to use of beaches. And this is to modify the date on which the pre-season purchases will no longer be accepted. The pre-season badge sales will now end on May 31st, and the new prices will be in effect as of June 1st. So that's 15 days, 2 weeks earlier than in previous years. Final reading.
This is the final reading, and I just want to mention, if anybody from the Taxpayers Association is here, or Little Lake Harbor Yacht Club, or any other organization, it's really important that we let people know that there's a change. So maybe you could get it out in the newsletter, because as we know, a lot of people are going to come and say, oh, it always was the 15th of June or whatever. So please try to get the message out. Since this is final reading, it's open to the public for any discussion. So I'm opening the floor if anybody would like to speak to this ordinance.
So at this time, we're opening the floor for any member of the public that would like to speak to this ordinance specifically. You have the ability under the participants tab to raise an electronic hand. You can do that and we will call on you. If you don't have that ability, you can raise a physical hand like this and we can call on you. Or if you're on a regular telephone, you can *6 and we can unmute you. Megan, go ahead. Unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record.
Megan Marr, 1608 South Beach Avenue. Just so everyone knows, I can put that on social media through our Facebook and our Instagram, so it can start getting out there as soon as it's approved for me to do that, as early as you guys would like me to. I can put that out for everyone, so it can be out to the public.
After the vote tonight, it will be approved.
Okay, great.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Question. Oh,
Chuck?
Carol?
yeah.
Hold on a
Sorry.
second. We have a question. Carol, you can unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record.
Hey, Carol Galante, 217 11th Street, Beach Haven.
Yes.
To go along with the beach tags, will there be lifeguards on the beach on Memorial Day weekend?
Less what?
Will there be lifeguards?
Well, actually, no, I mean, I probably not. I don't know, Megan, or
Megan can answer that.
yeah.
We will have lifeguards on Center Street, Pearl Street, and 5th Street, but we don't go as far as 12th in the opening season. We won't be going to opening season we won't be covering all beaches until around June 21st. I have to check what that Saturday is.
Okay.
So there will not be lifeguards on May 31st.
So most kids that lifeguard are still in school, so it's hard for them to get down here, but
Right.
you recommend that people swim on the beaches, particularly that do have guards on Memorial Day weekend. In the past, the ocean never was was usually pretty cold on Memorial Day weekend, but things are changing.
Yes, right.
Thank you, Carol.
I just wanted to clarify that you'll need beach badges for Memorial Day weekend.
No,
Oh, you won't?
No,
no.
the pre-season sale price will end on May 31st, and the regular season price will become effective June 1st, but badges are not required until the last Saturday in June.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
No problem. Chuck, did you have something else to say?
You mentioned in one of your notes the holiday badges and when they would stop being sold.
They are sold out. We had 500 of those collector badges for the holiday, and last I heard, these were sold out.
Then I
Wow.
get we don't have to say hurry to get yours before they're sold out.
No, they all sold out. They went quick this year.
Another great design by our Beach Haven school kids, I believe.
Yes, it was adorable.
Yeah.
Any other members of the public like to speak to this ordinance? Seeing none?
Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second,
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
yes.
Mr. Maskell,
Yes.
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
All matters listed under item consent agenda are considered to be routine by the municipal council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any items requiring expenditure supported by a certification of availability of funds, and any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed separately. All consent agenda items are reflected in full in the minutes. Resolution 229, authorizing the refund of special event rental fees for events canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Resolution 230, authorizing the refund of special event and bonfire application fees for the same purpose. 232 is refunding tax overpayments. 234, consenting to the issuance of amusement licenses for Wainwright Amusements, Fantasy Island Amusement Park for the 2021 amusement games. 235 is authorizing the return of some park bonds for events also canceled due to COVID-19. 236 is authorizing the Borough of Beach Haven through the Beach Haven Borough Police Department to participate in the Defense Logistics Agency Law Enforcement Support Office 1033 program to enable the Borough of Beach Haven Police Department to request and acquire excess Department of Defense equipment. 237 is amending a professional services agreement with CME Associates as administrative agent for the administration of affordable units and certifying additional funds therefore. 238 is awarding a contract to United Rentals for the 2021 equipment rental bids. 240 regarding emergency remote meeting protocol, procedures, and requirements for public participation at remote meetings. 241 is returning remaining off-duty police detail escrow. 242 is returning street opening bonds. 243, returning park bonds. 244, returning dumpster bonds. 245 is returning piling bonds. 246, approving the Beach Haven Watershed Management Plan and requesting FEMA review of the same. Resolution 247, acknowledging the hiring of Michael McCaffrey as police officer. 248, rejecting all bids received for the 2020 construction of pickleball courts at Nelson Avenue. 249, acknowledging the hiring of full-time permit clerk in the building department. Resolution 250, returning street opening bonds. Resolution 251, returning piling bonds. Resolution 252 is amending the shared service agreement for construction code enforcement services interlocal Schedule C for 2021. And finally, 253, executing a shared service agreements with the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office for participation in the driving while intoxicated enforcement program and the drug recognition expert call out program.
Would anybody on council like to have one of these, any of these resolutions removed for further discussion?
Yes, I would. 248 on the pickleball and the
Okay.
quotes.
Sure,
I'd like to hold a kind of a meeting on that and discuss that in more detail.
Any others like to be removed?
Sherry, I just have a question. On resolution 249, I didn't see it written on the agenda, or I would have asked earlier. Did someone retire in the office for the full-time permit clerk? There was just a need?
there is a need, and we also have 2 individuals that are coming up on retirement who
Gotcha.
hold a lot of information, and so we felt it would be twofold to start to teach them and groom them and also give a hand in the department as well.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure they were both healthy and there wasn't something happened quickly. So that's good
No.
to hear. Thank
No.
you.
Mhm. No others like to be removed? Do we have,
I didn't want to remove that. I just had a question about it.
okay.
That it?
So the
So it's-
consent agenda, with the exception of resolution 248.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve all of the resolutions with the exception of 248?
So moved.
Second,
I'll-
Thank you. Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller,
Yes.
Mr. Lynch,
yes.
Mr. Maskell,
Yes,
Mayor Davis.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 248, 2020, rejecting all bids received for the 2020 construction of pickleball courts at Nelson Avenue.
Okay, so let's have the council speak, and there's a lot of pickleball fans in the among the participants, and I'm sure they're going to want to speak as well. Tom, why don't you take over?
Well, I understand that there was one of the bids that came back and it was extremely high from what we had $170,000 for. And I wanted to talk a little bit about it because I talked to several of the people who are pickleball people. And basically they had told me that there's a situation where they may be able to come up with a balance of money that may help do a number of things. Number one is probably take care of the basics that we have in pickleball. I'm not so sure about the sound or screens that they talked about. So I think that's something to be discussed. But I know that there was some discussion by the pickleball people talking to me relative to the shortages that we have. They may be able to come up with some dollars to help out. And maybe we take that money if we can, if it comes in at the right time, and we get the basics, and maybe at a later date, we add on to that in 2021. But I would like to get something started on the pickleball. I understand the gentleman who made the bid was a little bit higher than what Frank Little expected. So maybe there's some areas where we can do a little pruning and still come back in and be able to do what we wanted to do in the pickleball area. And that was the 9 courts.
Let me just explain for the public on the call that are not aware. We had approximately 60,000 left in the budget from last year's project, less any invoices from Frank Little in the meantime in preparation for the bid packets, plus an additional 110,000 that we were appropriating toward the project from this year, bringing us to about 170,000 all in for the project. The base bid for the project, that's a 9-court expansion with windscreens, came in at a little bit over 188,000. The alternate bid was for the soundproofing barriers. That's about additional 24,000. And then we also had a second alternate for some permanent netting as opposed to temporary netting. And that was, I think, maybe around 4,000. So even if you were just looking at the base bid, Tom, without the sound barriers, the base bid exceeds what we had budgeted. We had a close to 170,000, and the base bid is at 188 or 189.
Well, I would like to hear from some of the people who are the pickleball people, because as I say, I've been fielding calls for a week now, and people are coming back to me and saying there's a probability that they may be able to come up with about $20,000 to $25,000 to of all the pickleball players, and be able to pick up that slack that we have from 170,000 to at least get us to about 190. Would be able to buy the basics
You
And
don't have a lot of time. You can do that. You don't have a lot of time though, because, we only have, Bruce, 30 days to award the bid. We could extend it to 60. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we could request from the bidder for an additional 30 days. But they would have to work quick and get funds into the borough that can be certified, because we can't award it unless we can certify that the money is able to be appropriated for the project.
And Sherry, I think you should mention that we can't dicker with the bidder. I mean, we can't go back to him and say, hey, can you modify this or modify that? This is the bid. So we have to come up with that almost 189,000
Yes.
in order to, and as you say, it has to be fast because those bids have to be, any money coming in would have to be certified.
Right.
With
So why
20
don't we give it the opportunity of the people on pickleball to give them an extended 60 days and see if we can come up with the money and see what happens then. But from what I've been talking to some people today, they thought that they could get their forces together in a rather quick time and be able maybe to help out and come back with something that might be in line with that. So I don't know, but that's what they told me today.
Do we know exactly how much short we are? Because 188 does not cover engineering fees, does it?
No, well, the 188 was the bid from the engineer. I mean,
Right.
from the
one bidder.
Yeah, the
Right.
bidder.
So what is, then we have to pay the engineer as well. So what is the golden number that we need to hit as far as if the pickleball community comes up with the shortfall? Because it's not just 188 that we need. It's not just 18 we need. It's 18 plus engineering.
I mean,
Like $50,000.
I think it would be closer to 28,000.
Well, you have the 28,000 is for the sound barriers. The other nets are 4,500, and the 188 you're over already, and then the engineering
That's it.
fees so far are 6,300.
Yeah, I mean, if you take the engineering fees into consideration, say, we only had let's just say we only had 50,000 left from last year's project, plus the 110, that gives you 160, and the bid came in at 189. So the difference between 160 and 189, there's your difference, and you're not getting any of the soundproofing.
Is it possible that we could raise the money in the budget for 2021 for the soundproofing?
So Dan, I'm sorry to go back real quick, Nancy, I'm sorry, Dan, to go back. I mean, they'd have to make up 29,000 to be safe to make the bid without the soundproofing.
Now, when we spoke earlier, you said Frank was going to try and find out how much the soundproofing was, just material. And
Yeah.
maybe utilize our public works. Did he ever come back with a number for that?
Yes, I do have that number. And the company that makes those sound shields, the material only, even if we were going to install it on our own, was $26,453.34. So they actually put in the sound barrier under what the actual cost was, and it looks like they built the labor into the base bid. So even if we were going to go separately outside the bid to purchase the sound barriers and install them in-house, the cost
It'd be
would
more
be
expensive.
$26,453.34.
Wow.
It'd be more expensive than if we let this guy do it. Yeah.
And if you wait till January, the price might go up. I mean, that quote's only good for 30 days.
Mhm.
Sherry, is a sound barrier, I'm trying to remember, is it just quoted for the east side, or is it quoted for the north and south sides as well? I know we weren't going to put it on the west side.
It was just, I think it wrapped around. It was the east side and a little bit of wrap on the north and south.
Okay. So so now you know what the basics, what we need. And I think, do we want to open this to the public? Another option would be to go out to bid for 6 courts and see if we had enough money to do 6 courts. Although the amount of land and blacktop is not a lot. So I don't, I'm even skeptical of whether if we went out for bids, it would cover, we would have enough money in the budget that we're budgeted now for 6.
Yeah, you could easily not reject these bids, simply set them aside. We can prepare another set of bid specs and go out to bid for 6 courts. I don't think that the price is going to be very different. Like you said, the amount of asphalt that we're using is pretty similar. And then you're going to take into account another small fee, another set of engineering fees to create those second bid specs.
Chances are the same guy is going to be the bidder.
Oh, sure.
So
Mhm.
There was only one bidder, correct?
Correct. But it might be smart to not reject all bids right now and just see if the pickleball community is able to pull together some funds.
Sherry, I have a question. I mean,
Yeah.
first of all, I feel uncomfortable with really not the CFO here to, really guide us through this. Even at the last meeting, it wasn't her recommendation to use the whole line item to fund this project. Remember that this line item for this year was for also $50,000 was for the lights at Taylor. So we're already going into the 2021 year, $50,000, as a project that we were anticipating getting done, that's not going to be done if we use the whole line item for this. So we have, that wasn't even considered or introduced at the last time that we discussed this. And I remember that she specifically said that it's not just that someone can come and cut a check and give it to you and it can be accepted. It takes time to do that. And I don't really feel comfortable without the CFO here talking about that process and leading us into something.
Well, I can help you with that. I mean, Sherry and I work closely. She did not have any reservations about using the full line item. Actually, the line item is called park improvements. And if it can be allocated to park improvements, we absolutely can set certain projects aside and allocate it to the park project that needs it.
I understand that that's possible, but we're going into 2021 already $50,000 in the hole that we're not going to be using for the lights. So
yeah, we're not going to do that project. So
right, and that wasn't even discussed last time. So now, or when we did approve the capital budget.
No, we did. I discussed it with Chris Carson, and he was willing to forego that portion of the project for this project. So, I mean, these requests, some of these funding requests came from Chris, and he was willing to forego that lighting project. That's an aesthetic project, not a need. So, I mean, he was fine with that. And so we offered the full line item toward this project.
Okay, so what is I don't feel, what is the procedure? Like, I just don't feel comfortable with not having the exact funds and, there's a proper procedure to do this.
So if there is a donation made in the form of a check to the borough, it can have in the memo line, the project that it is for. That says pickleball improvement or pickleball project in the memo line, it can come in and can be deposited into the borough accounts. I mean, that wouldn't take an extreme amount of time, but does that answer the question?
Could I ask a question? If somebody were to write a check, say for $30,000 to the borough designated for pickleball, and we didn't go ahead with the pickleball, could we refund the check to them?
Sure.
But it doesn't have to go into the general fund initially?
Any donation that's made, as long as it has in the memo line what it's for, it can be brought in for that purpose. She can just appropriate additional funds out of whatever line item it's in.
Okay.
Or maybe, I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth.
But why don't we listen to the people, the pickleball people now, and see what ideas they may come up with, and see if there's an opportunity for them. They must have been talking about it for several days, and just see what they come up with.
Just one more thing I'd like to add, one more question for Sherry. If 60 days comes and goes without, being able to meet that number, that puts pickleball in a really terrible spot as far as what they're going to have next year. That's a pretty big roll of the dice. If they're confident they can do it, it's one thing, but if they don't meet it and we can't accept the bid even after the 60 days, we're now in danger of potentially not having pickleball in Beach Haven next year. But we're getting to that point, it feels like.
You'd have to significantly cut and really go back to the basics of safety and sound and
Yeah, we'd be putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound at that point.
If it's helpful, we could reach out to the bidder and get an extension. I just looked at the statute. They could agree to a longer extension than.
Because I don't think anybody wants to say that, we're not trying. We have tried everything we can, and it's getting to the point now where 60 days puts us into February. That's getting to be a tight timeline to get things done for next summer.
Bruce, you're talking about longer than 60 days total?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And you don't have any reservations about what I'm saying about accepting of a donation and appropriating and certifying funds, right?
Me, from my seat, no. And I assume you talked to Sherry Bowler about it already. I would defer to her judgment and understanding of the rules and regs on that. But as far as I'm concerned, it's okay. It's acceptable.
Okay.
I think as long as the funds were certified, is that correct?
Yes.
I would like to see if they're going to do a donation drive, to see if they couldn't raise enough. I mean, they have a lot of people that play from all up and down the island that maybe we could potentially get the sound as well. You know what I mean? Because it would be advantageous because he's going to do it for cheaper than we could.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and that was always one of the criteria for the neighborhood down there, was try to abate the noise as well. So if, that should be a goal. If they could meet that, that would be terrific if they're going to raise funds.
Say that one more time. You're talking about in addition to making up the gap to also have them get the sound?
Yeah, because that's always been a sticking point with the whole project between the neighborhood and the pickleball community, is the noise involved. We've seen multiple letters from Ross, saying the noise is awful, and I think, if good faith can be shown that they tried to raise more than just the 30,000 to try and help achieve the sound barrier, I think that would be beneficial.
You're talking about 55,000 total then?
Yeah, well, by their numbers, they have thousands of people that play. If they could do it, that would be a great show of force, and it would be great. Don't just limit themselves at the 30,000, because that may or may not even get it done there too. So we'd have to, I just don't want to limit it. Is what I'm trying to say. And if we could get the sound, that would just be much easier for everybody involved.
Nancy, are you opening the floor for public comment right now, or are you?
I think it's, there's a lot of people from pickleball. I'm just looking down the participants that are here. I think it probably makes sense to talk about this now, and limit the comments to pickleball and to a few minutes. That's what I would do.
Okay.
So
I just.
Floor.
Okay. All right, Lynn Van Name.
Hi,
State your name and address for the record.
Linda Van Aim, 815 North Atlantic Avenue.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Just one point on the sound curtains. Wouldn't it make sense to give the other things that we're willing to do a chance to work? And then if the sound curtains are still needed, to add them at a later time, if the borough could add them later? Because by starting later in the day, maybe ending earlier, taking time off in the afternoon, whatever needs to be done, it would generate a lot less prolonged pinging. So that would be my recommendation, to leave the sound out of it for now and give what we are already going to try a chance to work. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Anyone else like to speak to this?
Carol,
I don't see any hands up or anything on.
Carol was up.
Yeah, go ahead, Carol.
You have to unmute yourself, Carol.
It's time for your sign language, Megan.
Everyone,
here.
please keep your microphones on mute until you're called on, please. Go ahead, Carol.
Yeah, I had a thought about, with the sound.
State your name and address for the record.
Sure, Carol
Who
Galante.
knows? Yeah, you can eat now. It's hot. I'll eat it. It's hot though.
Hold on. Who's
Yeah,
that? Put
I'm
your
positive.
microphone on mute, please. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carol, with your address.
217 11th Street, Beach Haven.
Go ahead.
Just a couple thoughts I had. One is to maybe do phases on building the courts, and then just get the foundations in there. And then with the sound, I had an idea that maybe we could ask some of the local businesses to participate in planting rows of trees around the courts, so that it would be a natural barrier, and then support that with the sound barrier, that maybe not the most expensive sound barrier, but to put trees in there and ask the businesses to help pay for those, and maybe get a landscaper to organize the planting of trees, to make hedging around the pickleball courts. That's all I thought of.
Thank you, Carol.
Mhm.
Bonnie?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, state your name and address for the record, and then Dan, you're next.
Bonnie Lenhard, 115 Fairview Avenue. I think you should extend the bid for 60 days and see if the pickleball people could come up with enough for the base bid, not the additional sound walls and all that other stuff. I just think this whole idea started because the supply doesn't meet the demand. We had so many people that wanted to play pickleball down there, and we don't have enough courts for them. And everybody comes to the shore for activities. And it's our job to supply them with activities. Now, I know everybody's all got this division in their mind about the township coming and playing and all of that, which really should not enter into it. There are enough people in Beach Haven that play pickleball that this problem arises. But I don't know why this has become so difficult for the town to settle and solve and mediate on and compromise on. That's why you're elected to government, is to learn to compromise. And I think the idea of getting the basic 9 courts in, and Frank told me today that that base bid includes windscreens. So you put the windscreens up for the first summer, the next year, worry about the other $25,000 and get that done and do it right, rather than piecemealing it and just covering over the 6 courts now. That's my feeling on it. The town was able to come up with, I think, $214,000 to do 3 tennis courts. and I'm not comparing tennis to pickle, but they only came up with $10,000 and they had a long time to raise $10,000. You're putting pressure on the pickleball people to come up with this money in 60 days. And I don't personally feel, I mean, I think everybody wants those pickleball courts. And I understand your position in coming up with the money, but there's ways to find money. And I think they need to be given the 60 days to see if they can come up with it. That's all.
Thank you. And if what Bruce was saying is that we could possibly extend it longer than 60 days, and it could go into the new calendar year, and then we may be able to appropriate additional funds.
Yes, because you're voting on this when nobody's around. You know, they're gone. If this had been dealt with during the summer, I think you would have gotten money right away.
Oh.
But now, you know, you're depending on a few people that are very active in this raising of this money to reach out to all these people. And I don't even know if they have all their names and numbers and emails to donate money by a certain date. And I don't think that's fair to the residents of Beach Haven that play pickleball.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Thank you.
Dan Surtz?
Yeah, hi, everyone. Dan Surtz, 2318 South Bay. I live directly behind the courts and the noise is significant. So the neighbors, you know, I don't want to speak for all my neighbors, but it definitely looks like we lost the big battle here. So if this is going to be done, there has to be a sound barrier to it. If, you know, this was originally proposed as dangerous courts, then it became we need more courts, but there's 6 courts there. If it's not in the budget, do 6 courts and put the sound barrier up. If not, raise the extra money. It's if you're looking at 30, you're getting 50. You should be able to do that with that many people participating. I agree with what the last speaker just said. It should be done right. It shouldn't be done with something missing, because then it might not happen. And then we're sitting there and it is loud. There's no two ways about it. So it's easy to say if you don't live there, but we live right there. And this is a type of thing that if we're doing this, and there is going to be independent money, if there's that many people and that much of a need, then it shouldn't be that much to kick in. So that's how I'm looking at this. Either do it right or go back and get this guy to adjust it at 6 courts with the sound, and that's that. Thank you.
Andrea Jones?
All right. Hi, Sherry. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. State your name and address for the record.
Okay. I can go on video if you really want.
Okay.
Andy Jones at 8 Cottage Court in Haven Beach.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I know you know this because we have offered this money several times. We have money in an account for pickleball on the island that we've raised from selling shirts and having tournaments, okay? I'm in Florida. I've been in Florida for months now. And I mean, I don't know how to contact all these people, and I'm not going to get money right away. But I don't live in Beach Haven, but I have no problem donating $10,000 right now. You tell me a check to write, but that's the stipulation that we get 9 courts. I'm only donating money for 9 courts. I'm not concerned about sound barriers right now. You know, I think you probably should have sound barriers later when you think that you need them the following year. And we have money in our account. I can give another $5,000. So there's $15,000. That's only for 9 courts, and they have to be finished by the spring of 2021. I hope that helps you, but I haven't talked to anybody else. I had no idea what this meeting was about, and I had no idea how much they were going to be charging, how much the bid was for the courts. How would I have any idea? So I am more than welcome to donate money, but you know, we have a tournament that we plan in April. How can I even think about a tournament when we have no courts right now? Are we going to have 6? We're going to have 9? I mean, I can't plan a tournament in August. I can get another $5,000 in August from a tournament, but I can't get that right now.
Thank you, Andrea. Barb Kona? Go ahead, Barb, and state your name and address. Barb Kona, can you hear me? Any other member of the public like to speak to this ordinance? I mean, I'm sorry, to this topic. I'm losing track of what I'm doing. Okay. Don Caxton. Go ahead, Don. You have to unmute yourself.
Unmute. Okay. Don Caxton, 16 Fifth Street, Beach Haven, New Jersey. So far you've gotten $15,000 pledged already, okay, by Andy Jones and by the Pickleball Association. I understand last year there was an additional $3,000 pledged for pickleball by one of the pickleball players for pickleball. So you should have, right now you got it off to a good start, $18,000. I think you've got to give the pickleball people the opportunity to raise some money. And I think, you know, the sound barrier to build the basic courts and like this phase 1, and whether it's the town or some future monies from the Pickleball Association, look at the sound barriers as phase 2. But again, you know I'll donate, and I know there's other people I've talked to that will donate. So I think there's going to be an opportunity, and I think you'd be surprised at how much money is raised. So I think you need to give this an opportunity for people to raise the money, at least for the basic courts, and look at the sound barriers. If not immediately, next year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Don. Lynn, let's just see if any other member of the public wants to speak to this before I let you speak again, okay? Unless that's David. Anyone else raise an electronic hand if you'd like to be heard on this topic? Margie McGlynn, unmute yourself, state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Margie McGlynn, 122 Fairview Avenue in Beach Haven. I just want to reinforce what both Bonnie and Don have said. I think that the pickleball community will work hard to raise the money for the base project, but I think it's totally unfair for the township to expect that the community can go beyond that very high number of 29,000. And I'd also like to question, how did we get from 19 to 29? Because 19 was the number many of us heard you say earlier, and we had heard going into this meeting. We'll do our best to get to 29, but I just think it's totally unfair to put the burden on the players to fully fund the sound barriers. And I agree, we should get the courts built. And I would ask that the township, as you go into your new year, works to appropriate the funding for the sound barriers. Thank you.
Thanks, Margie.
I should state, Margie, that the increase in prices, because we have very high engineering costs built into this. And I think the majority of the council feels that we need to pay off some of those engineering costs.
Yeah, we were originally looking at the pot of money that we had, but engineering bills are coming in and being paid for the work that's being done to prepare the bids and specs. So, you know, that pot of money is dwindling the more we work on it. Lynn Van Name, you have your hand up again. Go ahead.
Yeah, Linda Van Name, 815 North Atlantic. Could you just, I just have a question. Could you just clarify that if we go into the 21 calendar year, could the borough put in money for the sound curtains then, if they chose to?
Well, that would have to be a discussion of the new council if they, when we start to talk about the budget, and if we're going to build some additional funds into the operating budget, or if we're going to look at another capital, or if we're going to self-fund it. I mean, there are many ways to fund it, but that decision would be of the new council as of January.
Okay, I just wanted clarification. Thank you.
Any other member of the public like to speak to this? Raise an electronic hand. You can raise a physical hand, or you can *6 on a regular phone. Seeing none, Nancy?
So since we have none, I am closing the floor for public comment on this issue. And so we'll move on to the approval of the bills.
I have a bill list today of in the amount of $509,571.09.
Excuse me, Sherry, before we do that, Sherry,
Yes,
one quick question. All right, so we moved away from the pickleball. Where are we now? What has transpired that we're going to be doing with the pickleball?
well, we're not moving the resolution rejecting all bids.
Okay,
That's what I'm understanding right now.
and we're giving the pickleball people 60+ days to be able to come back with some funds to be able to pick up any deficiencies that we have, except for, I think, the one which was the windscreens.
No, see, that's
I'm just trying to recap what we're doing here.
Anybody that's not a member of council, please mute your microphones. I hear some talking going on. Thank you. We are not moving the resolution rejecting all bids, and I will work with Bruce and Frank to request an extension. And we'll see what comes in,
Okay,
and I'll keep you, informed, and I'll keep the new council informed, and we'll see what happens during that time. Okay?
okay.
All right, I did read the bill list. If you're not a member of council, please mute your microphones. McLaughlin, thank you. Do I have a motion on the bills or any questions on the bills?
I already
Motion
asked
to
my
approve.
questions.
Thank you, Tom.
Second,
Thank you, Nancy. Mr. Allen?
Yes.
Mrs. Baumiller?
Yes.
Mr. Lynch?
Yes,
Mr. Maskell?
Yes,
Mayor Davis?
yes. Okay, so now we can open the floor to public comment, which would be for whatever you want to talk about. It doesn't have to relate to pickleball. In fact, I would hope the pickleball people have already spoken, so we can just have public comment. So I'm opening the floor. So again, the procedure is raise your electronic hand or make yourself known by raising your hand if you're on video, or pressing star, what is it?
*6.
Okay.
McLaughlin's, do you wish to be heard for public comment?
We did wish, we must have been doing something wrong during the discussion.
So state your name and address for the record.
Kathy McLaughlin, 2404 South Bay Avenue.
Okay, go ahead and make your comment then.
I have some concerns about if private donations are accepted by the pickleball community and what comes with that. I know when the hockey rink was being built, that was supposed to be supported by private donations, which never came in. We're hearing, talks about tournaments, and it seems like concerns that we've had as far as the noise, increased traffic, none of that, all that is, quote, being pruned or put off for another year. At what point do some of the concerns that the neighbors do have become addressed and not pruned or put off till next year? I mean, there are pickleball courts, 6. It's not like the activity, is no longer going to be, available to people, but it certainly is a concern, the increased traffic, the safety, and the noise.
We have implemented or discussed implementing quite a few things that we think would help, including limiting the times that the play is happening, limiting the number of players at the location at any one time, Well, you've heard the discussion tonight about the desire of the council to have the sound barriers, that it's a necessity for the project. We've also talked to Public Works and the engineer about possibly striping some additional areas for parking. It's been suggested to talk to the sewage authority about possibly doing some shared parking. Have I missed anything, Nancy or Jamie? Anything else?
Opening to get the only entrance and exit from the courts will be on the west side.
Yes, that the only entrance to the playing area be on the west side of the field. All of those things are being implemented in this particular project to assist the neighbors.
I also think that the council is pretty adamant about having these sound barriers.
Yeah.
So this is something that, we can look in our budget for next year and get them for the summer perhaps, or do something to raise more money for the sound barriers. I think everybody on council is committed to making it more pleasant for the people that live in that area.
And safe, I would hope.
And safe, of course.
Yes.
Including, I pray we're not in the same situation with COVID next year, but there were concerns about social distancing, wearing masks. I think that things need to be closely supervised. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on public comment for
Yeah.
anything?
Chris Rutherford. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Sherry, it's Chris Rutherford at 444 Center Street. I just wanted to take a brief moment to thank Chuck Maskell and Tom Lynch for their years of service to Beach Haven as councilmen. So I hope that I can do as well as the job as they have done. And I just wanted to express my thanks to them. So that's all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? There are no more public comments, Sherry?
No, I don't see any. Oh, hold on. Someone coming in. And while this last participant is joining, I did want to mention that this is most likely the last meeting for Mr. Lynch and Mr. Maskell, who I've worked with for 10 years. Chuck, love you. These guys are going to be handing in their equipment and helping me get everything ready to turn over to the new council for the January meeting. So this will be their last public meeting with us. Any other member of the public wish to speak for public comment? We're going to be closing the floor if we see none. Raise an electronic hand.
Oh, shit. How do I do that?
Oh, well,
there's a little, if you hit where it says participants, there's a little hand on the bottom. You have to go to the bottom of your screen.
Yep, she got it. She got it. Go ahead, Colleen. Colleen Lambert, state your name and address.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Well, honestly, I thought I had until next meeting.
State your address real quick, Colleen, for the
I'm sorry, Colleen Lambert, 115 8th Street.
Go ahead.
And I did think we had one more meeting to thank Chuck and Tom. And when Chris said that, she kind of made me look bad because I really was going to do it at the next meeting.
Nah.
And then he just said that they probably won't be on. I know that the job you did was not easy. I think we're going to find out exactly how difficult it was. But thank you so much for your years of service. It was very much appreciated. And I want you to know that the borough and my family in particular do also thank you for all you've done. That's it. Have a nice retirement, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Good. Best of luck.
Any other public comment before we close the floor? Seeing none?
Seeing none, we'll close the floor. And now we are to the last remarks, final remarks by council. And since this is Chuck and Tom's last meeting, I'll let them begin with the final remarks. Tom, do you want to?
Yes. I just want to thank everybody for the 4 years, which is going by very rapidly. There's been a lot of good, interesting issues. I hope we helped a lot of people out. And we worked as a team. So I'm very gratified to that. I wish everybody the best of luck in the new year. I know it's not going to be easy because 4 years ago, I thought it'd be very easy. And first day we were off and running, and it's not. So I just wish everybody, and I thank everybody for all their cooperation. And I wish the town only the best. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tom. Chuck, how about you? 10 years.
10 years. It's been 10 very good years. You know, obviously we've run into issues that confound from time to time, and you know, various parties have very strong opinions about how we should do things, and my parting remark would be to each of the new council people to rely on Sherry, who has been a masterful guide and has provided us with, you know, the type of leadership I think that allows our little borough to stand out. As we talk to the CPAs and the other administrative people that deal with municipal issues, including fine attorneys. There you go, Bruce. You know, they all say that the borough of Beach Haven, you know, is very sound. And, you know, Sherry Bowler also deserves a lot of credit for, you know, where she started and how she has grown in that job. And she's brought Jenny along, and she's been excellent as well. I think the team is there to continue our success, and I wish you all the best of luck, and just say Merry Christmas to you and yours. Have a happy and a healthy Christmas holiday, and please everybody stay safe from this virus, and hopefully we'll get some shots, and by next April, everything will be back to normal. That's my wish. Thank you.
Okay, Chuck, thank you. Jamie?
So this is not our last meeting. Is that what you're saying, Sherry? Because I thought that we had one on December 30th, no?
Yes, we'll have one on December 30th. But I need to have some of the equipment and things that these guys use on a regular basis back in my hands so that I can get them cleared and reset and repacked so that the new guys are ready to go by the 4th.
Okay, so
But we will have another meeting, so we can say goodbye again.
right.
Yes, you sure can.
They just won't be, okay.
They
So-
might not have any equipment. They might not be able to zoom in.
They might be on their
They're gonna
telephone.
call in.
Okay, well, just very quickly, thank you, Tom and Chuck, for your dedication to the borough of Beach Haven. Chuck, if you're not at the next meeting, which you might not be, I'm definitely going to miss your one-liners. You always put a smile on my face. Some of the things that you say. For everybody else, thank you again for coming to the meeting. We do appreciate your comments, and we do listen to them. And we do try our very best to compromise with everyone, because a lot of these things that are being built in the borough do affect multiple people. So of course we try to compromise. And I just wanted to wish everybody a happy holidays and a well-deserved break. And I'm not going to say it New Year yet, because I will see you at the next meeting. But I hope everybody has a healthy and happy holidays and well-deserved break and spending time with your immediate families.
Thank you. Dan?
Yeah, I'd also like to thank Tom and Chuck for their service. You know, basically this is just about a volunteer position, and you know, everybody I talk to says it's more often than not a thankless job. You know, I just want to make sure that I extend my thanks to them for what they've done for the town. And Chuck's 10 years and Tom's 4 years. He beat me by 4 votes last time. But outside of that, thank you. I'd like to wish everybody on the call that's still here a very Merry Christmas, and we'll see what happens next.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, so it's my turn, and I'd like to say a couple things. One of which is I saw that Bob Stern was one of the participants in the meeting. I hope he's still here. And I'd like to also say this so everybody knows that we are liable in the future of having some windmills out in front of us. Atlantic Shore has the rights for a large hunk of property in the sea, 10 miles out, 10 to 15 miles out. I can't go into the details. And I know Bob had put an article in the Sandpaper, as well as contacted me and sent me a lot of information. He's very knowledgeable on this issue. And I find it very interesting. I've met with the people, the Ørsted people, which basically are doing the project in front of Atlantic City, which we will see when we look towards the south. That is already underway. We've had a Zoom meeting with a couple of the people, Jessica Dealey and Karen Hershey, who work for Atlantic Shores. And basically in fact, they just submitted a large grant proposal today, which they'll know about by April. But they're have a big operation out there. I'd like to, but what Bob would like to do is put together a proclamation which would ask them to please not place their windmills at least 15 miles out, so they're less visible. They claim that you'll be able to see these windmills 40% of the time, which is when the days are clear. And that usually is in the spring and the fall, when the water temperature and the atmospheric temperature are about equal. We could do something like that, and I think we as council need to talk about it. And we could send the proclamation on to all the other municipalities on this island, of which are 6, and also to some of the municipalities on the northern island, which will also see these windmills. And whether it'll do anything or not, I'm somewhat doubtful, because I have met, I actually, when the governor presented his energy saving proposal at Stockton, I was there and was able to speak to some of these people. I'm somewhat doubtful that that'll happen, but I think we can try to work with Atlantic Shores to try to make these as appealing as possible. Unfortunately, these windmills keep getting bigger and bigger. And when I talked to them recently, I said, you know, you're starting as far away as you can get from us. You're starting on the southeast area of the land that you have leased. And wouldn't it be better, because they say the windmills are going to continue to get bigger, wouldn't it be better to put the bigger windmills farther away from us? And their answer to that was that when they get the bigger windmills, they will be more efficient, and they will be able to create more energy, so they can place them much farther apart. Most of these windmills are about a mile apart. They'll be able to place them considerably farther apart, so they won't be quite as noticeable. But this is happening, and I think it's important for the people of the island, not just Beach Haven, but everybody, to know that this is going to happen, and that if we are going to have any input, we've got to have it now. In addition to that, there are some windmills that Ørsted have done on Block Island. Most of the sea windmills are in Europe, and they are considerably smaller than what these windmills are going to be. Actually, interestingly enough, the windmills on Block Island have actually increased their tourism, have increased the number of people wanting to go to Block Island and renting and buying property there. So I don't think that it's going to necessarily cause our property values to go down and our rentals to go down, but it is something I think we need to be aware of and we need to think about. And so I just wanted to bring that up so people know that we are dealing with this. Dan has also been on these meetings and he and I have worked together on this, and it's something I'm particularly interested in. And the Stockton marine biology faculty are very involved, and having a connection with Stockton makes it easy for me to contact them and talk to them. So I do think it's something very important. So that was the first thing I wanted to say. The second thing I wanted to say was I really feel that it's very important that all of you out there be very careful about COVID at the moment. I know that most of us have developed sort of a COVID kind of, we're so sick of it that, and there's a word and I can't remember what it is, but there's a word that we're so sick of it that we're not being as careful as we were back in the summer. A lot of people aren't being as conscientious about wearing masks or eating inside in areas where there are a lot of people. And the number of cases have skyrocketed. And I think part of it is because we have lost this concern that we had earlier. We've become sort of like, well, you know, we'll get it and we'll get better and yada, yada. But in all honesty, I think it's very important that we hold out for a little longer. It looks like the vaccine is here. We're soon going to be injecting people. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. But just in Beach Haven alone, the number of cases have gone up considerably. They've gone up considerably on this island, which we consider very safe. We know just in Borough Hall, we have a number of employees that are homesick with COVID, which means their families have it as well. It's something that we need to be very, very concerned about. And we honored the school today for keeping the kids safe and being able to have school, which I think is wonderful and so important. And I think we as members of this community and members of whatever community where I know some of you are in Florida now and you're not here, but I think it's very important that we are very conscientious that this is a real disease. It does kill people, it kills young people as well as older people, and it can make children very ill. So I think it's very important that we don't decrease our vigilance about this. Okay, and I'm going to save my main comments for Tom and Chuck till our very last meeting, but I have to say that, you know, having worked with you has been absolutely wonderful. And so I will hold off on that last comment. That'll be on the 30th. Hopefully people will be able to hear it. But so it's been wonderful working with all of you. And at this point, I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
A second? No second?
Second.
All right.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys.